final next week. It's big odds here for both as GG and Enterprise, the two titans of the region at the moment, go head-to-head. And Nick, do you know how lucky you are? You actually get to cast with the Manic Monday.
Do I really? Is that my big privilege?
You
well,
do.
Thank you so much.
Yep. It's a privilege.
I'm
for you.
about
It's a
that.
privilege for you, of course. You know,
for me?
Yes. Yeah, you know, I know you've been up on stage a couple of times and you've done some things in your career, but the question is, did you host Reload? That's the real question. Were you on stage hosting? I don't think you were, so you are so lucky to be in the process.
I was not, no. I mean, I want to say this. You say a desk, but if my memory serves me right, you guys were just standing around on your toesies.
What does it then? What does it then become
is
called?
Is it really a desk?
Yeah, like is it just a stand around?
It's a stand around, like it's like an interview style thing.
Yes.
I don't know. It's like when people walk around like New York and those like short form videos, being like, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" It's giving that kind of energy to me.
It is giving
like you
that
guys
energy.
just showed up.
That is so true. It really is. I miss the stand-up desk. That was.
Well, I kind of have a question for you,
Oh,
Rob,
please.
because I ask people this whenever I work with them.
Yep.
Because we all like Siege in different ways, different maps. What map do you like to watch as a spectator and work as a commentator slash desk host slash analyst? What do you like to watch?
You know what? If you were asking me as Rob, the commentator from many years ago, I would say Clubhouse through and through. I think that Clubhouse brings out
class.
Yeah, for me, it's talk about class. Talk about class. Brendo dropped at the start of the first round. Oh God. I don't even need to go on a tangent. Clubhouse through and through for me, mate. I love the mini games. I love the different styles of plays you have on defense. You can extend, you can roam, you can turtle. There's so much about Clubhouse that intrigues me. And there's still so much about Clubhouse that for me, anyway, as a viewer, translates to Nighthaven Labs. It feels very similar in the way that you can play on defense.
Wow. You took my words right there. I was literally about to say, well, now we're not even labs, and it has a lot of familiarity with Clubhouse, with the heart destruction, the first step, the turtle, the roam, etc. A lot of strategical depth, or rather.
I love it.
So right on the money there, Rob. Maybe you do know a thing or two, huh?
I wouldn't say. Maybe I just got lucky. Maybe I heard Dev talk about it one time and just regurgitated it.
Sure. Nah, you know ball. Now, I was saying earlier, GG. If their aggression can overwhelm Enterprise, I see that being their big win condition. They get the opening kill, play that 5 versus 4, and just take it from there. If Enterprise can match the aggression or simply not fall to those silly gunfights or making silly mistakes, I think that's how they're going to win. And that's why when you brought the question up about how important is someone like Fish Guy, well, he's often going to be the guy to say, guys, let's reel it back in, hold our angles, hold our crossfires, make sure that they're not going to be overheating in the server. They go for an aggro spawn peak. They take down Brendo, the Ash player, when they're up against the mirror windows. Absolutely massive first opening kill. And because of that, now they're playing safe and sheltered by the bomb site because they've already built that early advantage.
I mean, if you were to ask me back in the day, what made GG good? It was Fisho. It was the calls that Fisho had. The ability to change on a dime when they needed to. Speaking about changing, a little bit of aggression, backed away. Fortunate enough, Tuham was waiting with a shotgun. I don't like the odds of that fight coming through a turtleneck, I'll tell you that much.
I certainly don't either. It's all a matter of when are you going to swing, not if you're going to swing. You see Babin right now, flashbang going out, bit of verticality, he's gonna peel back off. Miranda gets shattered now, you can't see through it. Now he's gonna play in that pillar position and lash at the right time. Proxen takes down one player, second flashbang goes through.
Oh, lovely from Fisho. The timing was impeccable. And GG are left scrambling. They need to try and find a quick pick. Creeds, in fact, opens up quite nicely. This is now going to get a little bit awkward here. We don't like that nade whatsoever. That is a very awkward timing, I'll tell you that much. Flash goes out, but so does the smoke babe. It keeps them at bay for a minute longer. There's 10 seconds left. GG are struggling in this first round, and Enterprise, they should take this one comfortably with the time given, and Playout will close out with a quick two-piece. That's a great start for Enterprise.
Nice and simple, understanding the win conditions. I think the only way for GG to kind of fix that early loss of the Ash is if you get the Deimos downstairs and you find a ton of value with the trackers, with the verticality, and with the grenades. But none of that really happened. The trackers, well, they get stopped by the mute jammers, and then there's a lack of droning by the rest of GG on the bomb side, so Deimos didn't know where the defenders were playing from. And then lastly, they had a really hard time dealing with the mirror windows. They never actually got catwalk control by Garage, Raft rafters because the mirror window from the bomb side looks straight in there and you can't just walk up and punch it like in Connector. So again, Enterprise showing us that yes, they can shoot back, they can go for spawn peaks, but they also have that strategical understanding of when they need to do what in the server, and that's what made that very first round so simple for them. GG, my big question mark around this roster right now, given with the imports and looking really hot and doing pretty good, how much respect will they have for each and individual opponent? Against Enterprise, you'd think a lot of respect because they are the real deal, they're a great team. But I feel like when we saw GG against Chiefs just last week, I didn't see a whole lot of respect from GG paid towards the Chiefs, and it cost them a couple of moments and a couple of rounds in that.
And the thing for that conversation is there is definitely a little bit of bias, I'm sure, in the players' minds, even if they don't want it to. They said in the interview, Wettable said in the interview about, you know, Chiefs kind of talking shit, and, you know, as the import team, you're always going to have more eyes on you, right? You're always going to be put under more pressure and more scrutiny. But I could definitely see where they came from and why they started overheating and ego peaking, which we see so often in OCE. Like, so many great teams lose pivotal moments. Oh, speaking of which, just because of those ego peaks. And look, I'm not perfect. I do them way too often. Player might even go for one here if he's not careful. But one thing that we didn't get to talk about on the desk just very quickly, we haven't seen either of these teams play Nighthaven Labs in the last, let's say, month and a bit. So I'm really curious to see how both of these teams go about adapting on the fly. Fisho's been known as a very good adapter, but you are versing you're versing EU now. You're not versing OCE. You're versing teams that can do it on the fly and will be able to get in your face and make things uncomfortable.
That's right. Perhaps right now for GG that means slowing things down just a tad because Enterprise, they are shooting back consistently in those windows, the spawn peaks, etc. And if you're GG on this basement attack, you want to get that 5v5 execute or better if you can. Player early in that small garage room has been shot down by Creeds on the entry. Now GG can ramp things up because they got numbers advantage. They can overwhelm their opponents now, taking 2 against 1. Leighton finds a second. Oh, they're going to start planting. They're going to be speeding up.
Yeah, Enterprise are completely locked out here. They're going to have to play for the post plan. They do have one still up lurking about, but Bappin's going to have to move quick. Fisho with a very quick kill, but Creeds has traded double time, and that is a 3k in the round for him. Bappin locked out of the site, and most likely locked out of the round. Brendo, unfortunately, with a peak that just does not favour him in that instance. And Bappin, look, he's an absolute gunner, so don't take him out of this just yet. 10 seconds left on that kit, and I'm telling you right now, this is all she wrote. Bappin locked out, GG locked in. They are looking very good for this second round, but unfortunately Enterprise do not have the right call.
That is a round of momentum and a round of flow state for Creeds. I mean, he finds the first player and just keeps on going. And GG as a whole team that they recognize, okay, let's work with this. They're gonna have roamers, they're gonna be spread away from the bomb side. We can go for a direct attack because they have the Aurora. Those few doorways that allows the defender to go from one bomb site to the other to fight back, they're gonna get close right up, or right down rather, and enable that plant potential. And because you got that first kill, the second and the third from Creeds all of a sudden, there isn't enough manpower left from Enterprise. There's no plant deny, it's a post plant, it's completely over. And that's what I was saying earlier. If Enterprise cannot fall early in the opening engagements, they're gonna have a really good fighting chance in every single round. But if somebody like Player gets overzealous and dies way off the bomb site somewhere on his lonesome, that can really start opening things up for Gaimin Gladiators.
God, it's almost like you know what you're talking about. That is insane. I will say, one thing is for sure, I have not cast in this current era of Siege, right? Rara, a completely new operator. To me, from a casting perspective, like obviously on the desk, working with incredible analysts, you get a lot of insight, but watching it actually play out minute to minute as you're casting, it really can change the outcome of an entire round just with one doorway. Like, it's just insane how well that works. But at the moment, I think you've hit the nail on the head. For everyone at home watching, these early rounds are so pivotal here for Enterprise. And look, Tuhan's first little peak at the start of the round in the first round set the tone really nicely. It kind of forces GG on the back foot a little bit, but you can't do that every round. And you certainly cannot get caught out every round. So they're going to have to find a way into this game.
That's exactly it. You gotta find consistency on a consistent level, not relying on a hero play or GG making a mistake. You wanna be the ones taking control as often as possible. And that's where, when I speak of respect, when GG recognized, okay, we can't just cheese our way through this match, we have to now adapt on the fly, like you mentioned, Rob. They can and they will do it. And they'll slow down the pace when they have to. They'll, take it right back up to like really, really fast when they have to as well. Enterprise now, it's a bit of a mental game. They've seen both sides of GG. They've seen the vulnerable one where they fall back, one where they just push the bomb side. This time player gets the opening kill, but there's a trade from GG.
Yeah, wow, just sandwiched in. Absolutely nothing the player could do. Completely white. Fisho goes for the swing. No one from GG is there supporting on the window or the doorway. Croxon, unfortunately, too far away to have any impact. And the round slows down significantly now. This makes things a little awkward for GG. And Enterprise, they have an opening now. They have to ensure that they lock GG out.
I get Blitz going for a fast plan because there's a C4 downstairs, but with no cover, it doesn't work out. Weatables instead goes down. This time there's coverage. 2v1 on Fisher Guy on a castle. They can't quite stop this one.
Post plant once again. Enterprise, though, they start off in the right fashion. However, Croxon is going to be a pain in the ass to deal with. I can assure you that he's actually rotated back up above, and it means the Enterprise have to fight on two different fronts. Weatables out on the window, but he's going to be watched. I think that's by Baffin, maybe. He's going to swing, but it's Relays that holds, and so too will the kit. Enterprise with a very clean retake.
Incredibly clean. Like that is one of the hardest rounds to retake because, as you said, you're fighting two different positions. The verticality upstairs by the exterior breach and the bombs at window as well. You can take a third layer to this and say the basement portion. If you have like a Deimos or a Yellow, red ping, a Bog, anything that can do it from downstairs. They didn't have that. And they didn't have enough manpower to spread themselves that thin in the server. A really good problem solving from GG saying, hey, we can go for a completely free plant. This time there is coverage. And great response from Enterprise saying, hey, we got canceled by the bomb side, found that first pick. I need somebody from my team here to just go upstairs and lock down the verticality. And if we win just one more gunfight, either above or below, we can then go for a defuse. Beautifully played, honestly, from both teams. And again, Enterprise are showing us that they're not a one-trick pony. Despite GG doing that early play, they had the right answers.
Now, Nick, as much as this has been a great honor for you to cast with Manic Monday, unfortunately, it's time for me to leave you in the very capable hands of the late James Devmata Stewart. Welcome in, my friends.
Thank you, Rob. You make it sound like I've died, the late Devmata. What is that all about? Yes, I'm very late, and my apologies for that to everybody. Thank you. How's things been tonight? What a hectic night. We've actually had two zeros. That's a bit of a record for the APAC playoffs so far.
Don't get ahead of yourself here, James. Okay, yeah, there were 2 zeros, spoilers, but they were like overtime all the way. A team calling GGs before the game is over just to get swiped in overtime instead. It's been incredible. It's been phenomenal. It's been extremely fun, and it's been chaotic. And I think it's kind of set the pace quite well for GT Enterprise because it can get kind of chaotic here as well, but also at a very high level, strategical, coordinated aggression. And for the first 3 rounds that we've seen so far, it's pretty damn close.
Yeah.
It could have been 2-1 GT, but it is 2-1 for Enterprise because they got that retake in the last round in the 3-on-3 post plan.
And this is such a big game as well. Not only is it the upper bracket final here in OCE, but of course it's a big grudge match between Gaimin Gladiators and Enterprise, or specifically between Weatables Brendo on the GG side and Tuhan and Fisho Guy, formerly on that GG roster, dropped not long ago to make space for these European imports. So it's a big opportunity for Enterprise, and particularly Fisho Guy, who's seen as the figurehead of that team, to make a big statement against his former teammates.
Let's see it now. That early stage also important. We saw Weatables with the drones out of Aqua right here, watching for the staircase, and of course using those florist drones as well for self-destruction. For GG right now, it's discovery phase. They want to take down any of the gadgetries, the traps, the information away from Enterprise and weaken them, apply all this phantom pressure, open up doors, windows, and angles so that Enterprise are not going to know exactly what the attack is going to be. Because if you have a very linear one-dimensional attack, they're going to have a counterplay very easily. Also worth noting, GG did ban out the mirror. That was the bit struggle previously on, so now they can get connector control, where Croxon is right now a lot easier. Whereas Enterprise, they banned the Blackbeard, which takes away 1 set of grenades, and of course, an easy-to-play entry operator to get that map control. So, very, very slow round, the slowest thus far. The opening kill, always important. Weatables injured all of a sudden, taken down, jumps in the window, finished by the barbed wire.
And it doesn't go much better for Creed, who immediately dies as well. It's a 2-player advantage. There's less than a minute to go, but GG haven't found a lot so far. Brendo's a very sharp shot, but he goes down. Croxon and Leighton. It's the imports to try and do it all. Croxon down. Wow, this has been a pretty shocking round from GG on a map where we expect to see a decent amount of power from that attacking side. Enterprise are off to a very proficient start. 3 rounds to 1, and now it's a 4v1 for, yeah, maybe the best player in the league, Croxon, the Spaniard, but I don't think even he's capable of something like this. 20 seconds to play. It's a dud round for GG.
He's waiting now, hoping for a swing, but Enterprise is showing us discipline. They got the crossfires. They're waiting for the vault prompt. The sound cue being stuck in animation. Air jab goes out, won't matter. And now comes the swing for the kill. They won't get it on the first one, but the second one, Tuhan confirms it. Enterprise
Stat
completely
farmer.
in. Farmer League stat farmer. Okay.
I love
do
that.
something. Come on, do something, Croxon.
I love that. Man, you can see these guys
Tactical
are firing.
timeout.
It does force the tack timeout. Now, keep in mind, Pengu, the last time these teams played each other, it was in the round robin phase. Enterprise won 7-1 over GG. That was a different map. That was over on Clubhouse, a map that
Crazy.
GG are happy not to be playing at all in playoffs. And, of course, like, keep in mind, we are on EP's map here. But a 3-1 start, especially as dominant as some of these rounds, particularly that one, have been, that really does tell you a lot about the stage that has been set here. And yeah, Croxon, he may be one of the best players in the league, but he's going to get called out nonetheless.
GG having to work very hard for these rounds in small ways. They're slow to begin off with. They don't find the opening kill. One of the downsides of being a really good mechanical team and just kind of out-fracking your competition is that when you're being given those gunfights, you're gonna win them. That's just the nature of the game. You're the better player, you're the better team. Done. When your opponent isn't giving you those gunfights very easily, so when they play utility, or they play on the bomb side, or they play on those crossfires in the corners, you need to problem solve a situation to get into a gunfight that you can then win. And that's kind of the area where GG right now, they're falling short. On that upstairs attack, on both attempts, GG has been unable to force any kind of gunfight and been unable to problem solve the setup that Enterprise is bringing. In the first round, one player got spawn peeked, that was Brendo, unlucky, he was playing the Ash, they couldn't clear the mirror windows. That was the story of the very first time they attacked it. In the previous one, the only play that really happened from GG was jumping in the garage window from Wedables, straight into a keeper barrier and a barbed wire, a Legion mine, and just died. It was very, very straightforward. GT needs to go back to the basics right now. Problem solve, hey, what do we care about? This area of the map. Okay, is there a defender there? Okay, let's say Babin's playing. How do we kill Babin? How do we force him away from this position? Is it verticality? Is it going to be a grenade? Is it going to be a Deimos tracker? And then just go from there. Like, you can't just walk in the building expecting to get kills because Enterprise are clearly so good they won't give it to you. There's a wallbang onto Leighton, LOLs in the chat. GG again. Just trying to force a simple gunfight. It doesn't go their way. It's another 4v5.
We thought we already had the big grudge match here in OCE between GG and Chiefs, but apparently Enterprise, we hadn't given enough respect to their name. Everyone on the GG roster was expecting to play Chiefs in the grand final later. Everyone on the Chiefs team was expecting to play GG later in the grand final, but perhaps maybe we're not actually giving enough credit here to the new kids on the block, this brand new roster that started this year. These guys have been in peak form. And you know what, Pengu? I was saying that Croxon was #1 player in the league. He's actually been overtaken per stats by Player,
Really?
the newest sub in for Enterprise. He's only played 21 rounds prior to this game as he's subbed in for Killerman, and he's been on fire, as is the whole of Enterprise. Tuhan now, it's him and Fisho together to two-piece that #1 player from GG. And now with so much time left on the clock, GG have ran out of options. 5v2 now for the defense, and Enterprise are keeping this pressure going.
They really are. The Prime C4 gets popped in the soft wall. We see Brendo and Creed's not in great positions, not close to each other. Doesn't win the gunfight. I thought that was going to be a freebie. Creed's all alone, 6-3 to his name. Overwhelmed, swarmed, and taken down. A flawless defense for Enterprise. They are in full control from the very first wallbang till the very final finish as they just run towards the final attacker that was the global operator of Dokkaebi. This is a dire situation. GG, they have called a tactical timeout. they've banned that third operator, and they still are unable to problem solve and figure out how to take that Enterprise on this very first map. Sure, it's the map pick of Enterprise, but still, if you're GG, if you got those imports, if you got all that experience, you would be expecting a different scoreline and a different outcome in these rounds.
Yeah, damn. I mean, look at what the scoreline says, Pengu. We are very close to looking at a 5-1 defense half for Enterprise. GG have got to be feeling a little bit of stress right now. They got to be a bit anxious, guys. What's going on? This is not how we plan things. Nighthaven Labs, yeah, it may be Enterprise's map pick, but we'd certainly expect a bit more from GG here. Of course, Cafe up next. We haven't seen these two teams play any of the maps in this veto against each other before, but I don't know. I just have a bit of a stinky feeling about this for GG. If the first half goes 5-1 in favor of Enterprise, yeah, I'm going to be a little bit worried for the previous top dogs of the region.
The big thing, of course, it being a best of 3, you can kind of warm up on your opponent's map and then go big on your own. So as long as GG shows up on Cafe, we can at least get a deciding map on Chalet. In the perfect world here for GG, what do they get? They get everyone actively warmed up on the scoreboard. Right now, oh, that's a bad one. A swing goes the wrong way. Crocs with a freebie this time. But if Brendo and Wettables, who right now are falling a bit behind together with Leighton, 2 and 5, 0, 4, 1 and 5, can they find a couple of kills and get warmed up in the server? They can hit the ground running on Cafe. If you have a really slow first map in a best of 3 or best of 5 setting, you're still going to be playing warm up on the second map. And then if your other players who did get that good start in the first map don't end up showing up as they should, you're going to be, again, down some firepower. So GG can just find themselves here in the first map and say, guys, this is all practice, so to speak, warm-up for what's to come. That's the beauty of a long series.
Yeah. Now we know GG have what it takes to come back. Already one player picked off for EP. It's Relays, the young talent on the roster. Bappen's keen for something here with the MP7, wondering are they going to come up from below on Garage. The drone work is coming through from GG, spotted on the camera by Enterprise. Nice to have Relays watching that for him, and Bappen actually does find his kill out onto the breach. Leighton, you can't afford to lose that one. Thankfully, Creeds is there to support his teammate, and Bappen eventually goes down. Top floor dominance from GG, but still a lot of map to clear here.
We saw the aggression there from GG. They get that pick and they jump in the window. They take catwalk control. They just take as much map space as they can gather for free. Time a little bit against them, 60 seconds. Buck is dead, but Sledge is still alive, currently on flank watch duty. Enterprise, if they move around too much right now, they might get picked off by the rotation flanker watchers of GG. They're gonna stay mostly by the bomb site. Creed's still not active with the sledgehammer. They might not have time to do enough vert here to go for a default plan, but as I say that, Creed starts doing the vertical destruction. Question for Enterprise, what are they gonna do? They have 1 C4 in pocket, no toxic babes. Are they gonna take the gunfight? Are they gonna play plant deny? They got both options available to them.
Honestly, it feels like they're just playing patiently, Pengu. Keen to contest at least somewhat through the floor, but it might not work out for Player. He takes a hell of a lot of damage and only lands 1 shot onto Creeds in return. Another opportunity, but it goes begging for Fisho guy. However, that wasn't the player with the C4. That's Tuhan. Out comes the Nitro cell, detonates, but doesn't get the kill. Just a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Player goes down, finally finished off. The Nitro doesn't matter, but it does seem that the shotgun will find the kill. Now Croxon to relocate. There's a player coming down below. It's Brendo, and he will punish Tuhan. GG finally find their second round as we close out their attacking half.
A little bit too close for comfort, and that's what I was saying earlier. They got that C4 downstairs and they have players inside. Do they go for a gunfight or do they go for plant deny? They kind of did a bit of both, and the C4 also missed. The benefit of those, the people on the bomb side just kind of playing far back and staying alive, is the American can't afford to run around the bomb side trying to duke that C4. So what happened in that round is right before that C4 got tossed on out, one defender got killed and the other player on Tuberau was shot to 1 HP. They're now going to play very, very passive and not holding those aggressive lines of sight, and that actually gave Maverick enough time and space to sprint away from that first C4, which further slowed things down. So had they played more passive on the bomb site and had the plant deny downstairs, maybe that could have gone differently. But we gotta go back to the beginning of that round. Enterprise went for a run out, spawn peak sort of thing, but like Garrett small box. and they played that entire round down into a 4 versus 5, then traded back to a 4 versus 3. It was a tough round from the go.
Yeah, and yet, like you said, it was still very close. Credit to GG, though, when push comes to shove, they can lock in those 3v3s, and it was such an important round to lock in as well. Just mentally, there's a big difference between a 4-2 and a 5-1, right?
Yeah, massively. It's all about the parachute, as I like to say. How much you can save yourself if things they go wrong. In a 5-1, clutches will happen. You'll make mistakes, and then you're looking at match point. That's a huge comeback to try and overcome. Now in 2-4, you can still make a mistake, and it's still only a 2-5, and you can still, you know, keep your opponent away from the match point situation. So it's okay. And I think the benefit of GG with the experience that they have, they can mentally sit this and say, guys, we didn't have the half that we wanted. We didn't play as good as we needed to, but we're still absolutely in this to finish it off. And both teams in the operator ban phase have kind of had the same thoughts here. GG banning Heartbreachers, the Ace and the Maverick to strengthen those walls around the map. Enterprise, of course, banning the Kaid and the Bandit kind of in a response, saying, okay, if you're going to take away most of our Heartbreachers, at least you'll be able to open the wall in the first place. Now there's only going to be mute jammers on the wall, which you can then secondary MP, destroy from below, or repel with the thermite charges. So the walls will get opened up.
Yeah, the flip side of that is, of course, what's omitted from the ban phase is shields completely. So EP have full choice of what they want to bring. They're going to go with the Monty. Not surprising considering the type of player that Fisho Guy is. He's one of those like IGL who just loves to be like an overlord and see everything and then call the shots from there. So he's going to be doing that on the Montaigne. Meanwhile, Clash unbanned in this ban phase, but unpicked at least this round for GG. We might see it later, particularly if that Monty's a problem. But for now, it's much more about holding these crossfires on that top floor.
So who's gonna strike first? If GG wants to, they can go for a swing. They can aggress into the attacker's position. They're known to do it when they're playing defense. And that was my big question. Will Enterprise be ready for it? Holding those angles and locking down the positions. Beta Vert might have seen the player. C4 going out, doesn't touch anybody. And just gets taken down from above.
And this is the value.
Monty Fisher guys on the bomb side.
That's the value of that Montaigne. He's just forcing his players to make their moves, but a big C4 from down below. The one thing that Enterprise didn't account for, it might not matter though, because they found enough kills to account for it. Croxon is on the ground, going to get picked up now by Leighton, or Wettables. I didn't manage to see which player that was. Doesn't seem to matter though, because another kill from Bappen makes it a 2v2. Nullifies that revive. And now the round slows down again. There's almost a minute left for EP to figure out how they're going to execute this in the 2v2. But Leighton has retaken above. In theory, that means plant denial. But in practicality, it might not be possible. There goes one air jab. There's info. Leighton gets down. The second one as well. Player and Bappen. They team up together. And Tuhan is getting lippy in the chat because EP know they are in the driver's seat of this match.
That was a full-on mental warfare from Enterprise. They played it so well. GG had no information, no Bullet with cameras, no Valkyrie, no nothing. They're playing off sound, and they're playing off expectations in the server. Enterprise, in that 2 versus 2, they start planting for a few seconds, then they get off of it. What that forces the defenders to do of Gaimin Gladiators is they had the mute top floor going for a flank. He's gonna sprint forward, trying to stop it vertically. He gets hit by the air jab as he's rushing towards saving the round. When that happens, you have one attacker aggress the bomb site itself, trying to look at that second player, while the Nomad shot the mute through the floor as he was air jabbed to the verticality. It's beautiful. It's just forcing GG to make the wrong play by simply creating a bit of sound and distracting them from what the actual play will be from Enterprise. They wanted the defenders to take top floor and then just push on deep. You see it right here. They knew he was games. They had the information.
Let's fucking go, boys!
It's clean, it's simple, it's good siege.
And you know what more than that is? It's mental warfare, like you said right at the end of that play. Enterprise, we heard it in the comms. They are so fired up right now. Man, imagine the feeling for Tuhan and Fisher Guy, who got dropped from the best team in the region just to bring in some imports. And then you've got your players like Bappen and Relays, who have never been on a top-level team before. They've been sitting around thinking, who are all these old guard players? I can hang with them. I can be good enough. especially Bappen, who at the end of last year played for Supernova, which was on paper such a dangerous team, and they did pitifully badly. They did absolutely shockingly. Realize on the flip side, he's never played for like a top-level team until this year. Then Enterprise forms at the start of this year back as Antic Odium, and my god, ever since then, everyone, even players like Oda and Wettables have said, hang on guys, this is a real team. And hang on guys, because this is a real execute. Very early on in the round, already Croxon is forced back and forced to detonate an early Vulcan canister as well.
Is that a bit of panic there, though, from Croxon? Was it needed to pop that Goyo canister? You got the mirror window, you got the crossfire, Brendo above, just takes down Fisher and the Monty. And oversight, the hatch opened right above them. I don't think they had any idea. Relays had top floor control, but too late, wrong timing. Doesn't find the trade. Map control in favor of GG, Monty dead. It's plan B time for Enterprise.
That's right. And it will resolve in a little bit of ratting. That's what they'll need to do. They need to capitalize on some of these 1v1s that could come through. They've done that onto Wettables, who, by the way, a bit of a shocking game from him, 1-7. Meanwhile, Brendo, the dangerous player here for GG, is holding onto his roam. Creeds has been found on site. That's the top fragger. How is this always slipping through GG's fingers?
Gunfire's not going their way. They have to read the second. Oh my god, just it's so easy for them, seemingly.
Oh, no.
Now they're in the bomb site. They find another.
It's just devastation.
How?
Enterprise have completely dominated GG in this round. They know where Croxon is now. He's hiding behind his mirror window, flash banged out with the diffuser planted. He has no hope in hell. And Enterprise project themselves onto map point here on Nighthaven Labs.
That's criminal. It looks so easy and so simple. I'm gonna tell you right now, what Enterprise managed to find in that round, it is not easy. It is incredibly difficult. They did it with limited information, limited roam control, and almost no verticality. They just walk in, it's plan B, they know they gotta go for gunfights, and the second they get numbers advantage, when Bappen finds that second pick upstairs, they just overwhelm the site, because now they know, without drone information, there's probably only gonna be 2 people on the site. There only can be 2 in total, as 2 defenders available, and they're not going to be close together. So just send 2-3 attackers into one room, take down that one defender, the plan should be free. And it absolutely was. There's no way back in it. GG being caught off guard, and I think it goes back to the scoreboard. Leighton 3-8, Wettables 1-7, and Brendo 3-7. They are not able to fight back 1-to-1 in the gunfights on the entries. Bappen and Tuhan are absolutely running over them in the individual fights. That's creating GG to have all these gaps and angles they can't cover, and their teammates will fall apart slowly because of that. They have to worry about 2 or 3 different angles as a single defender because teammates are just dying on these positions.
Yeah, and for the most part, Enterprise are doing things really well together. That last round, when I think it was Bappen or Relez jumped in on the top floor a little bit too late to catch Brendo getting that kill, the idea was still there, right? Like, by the time Brendo died, he was already on his way there, so it was really just a timing issue for Enterprise, but they still have the idea to cover each other. We've seen that in every round so far. We got to see a little bit of the end-round comms earlier. I'd love to hear mid-round comms from these guys, because there is information flowing generously between these guys, constantly calling out where these players are, and the teammates are constantly supporting each other as well.
Mirror the trick there on the exothermic charge. It's a small thing we started seeing when you operate a bend phase. So you play 2 Boral, you freeze the wall, and you have a mirror window in your pocket. And when you put down a mirror window on a wall that has an exothermic charge or any kind of hard destruction, you will destroy the thermal charge. So now you're gonna have limited hard destruction left from Enterprise, and there is 2 or 3 walls they would like to breach in a perfect world. They can only get 1 of them. And because Creech is still tossing those 2 Boral freeze grenades on the wall itself, they are stalling out Enterprise's first step. They need this wall to get open first before they can attack Catwalk Raptors.
I think they might try and C4 or C4. That. Is that going to destroy the charge?
This could be genius.
No, the timing wasn't there.
Oh, missed timing.
Yeah, by the time that he destroyed the 2 Boral canister in order to allow him to detonate that C4, of course, unfortunately, the exothermic exploded.
Yeah. But the theory is there. It's a way to deny the hard destruction without having a wall-denying operator, technically speaking. But now, because it didn't work, you've invested 3 2-Boral canisters, a C4, and one of your only 2 mirror windows, so it's quite expensive. The upside is that Enterprise don't have another hard breaching operator. They have no secondary hard breach, they have no other primary hard breacher, and they've triple reinforced off Garage. So now they've surrendered Garage for free, and they're forcing Enterprise into this kill box of IT, or forcing to go Aqua Hallway. This will come down to just 50-50 gunfights.
And the 50-50s are not panning out here for Enterprise. Finally a round that GG needed. They seem to be finding, and they get the good read as well here on top blue. As Creeds has finished off relays, Leighton came in to support with that smoke canister, and that was hugely beneficial here. It's going to be another round on the board for GG. No GH in the chat just yet. Not time to move on. Bappin in a 1v5. Let's see if he can pull a Croxton and stat pad a little bit, but I think GG really needed this round. They really needed a dominant round as well. Started with a good read, and culminated with some good frags.
Only downside is that that's one of those, like, we call it pocket strats or cheese strats. It's good for one. Enterprise should not realistically fall to this trick again with the tuber on the mirror windows, and they also should be bringing backup hard breaching operators or getting can openers on the Capital, for example. There goes a Claymore, okay. Not sure it's gonna do anything. Time runs out, doesn't matter. The winners win the round. Enterprise should be good for future rounds, and this is the problem with the 4-2 half and then losing your upcoming rounds. GG are against match point. They need to go flawless now 3 rounds in a row to trigger overtime and then come out victorious. They then need 3 more pocket strats where they can cheese if around victory, or they gotta wake up in those gunfights. Wettable got a 2K there. We didn't see it on camera, but it happened off screen. So at least he's now kind of on the board fighting back. But it's gonna be a long road here for Gaming Gladiators.
Yeah, and I don't know who would have called that from GG about the Tubarão and the Mira, but it was a good pick regardless. Wouldn't be surprised if it was Wettables. I know he's a smart guy. He often brings a lot of ideas to the table in the mid game. But yeah, honestly, I'm not sure how familiar you are with the 3 Europeans on this roster, but I'm not super familiar with their playstyle back in the day. Like Croxton we casted when he was back on Wild a little bit last year. But, you know, I don't know which of these players are the ones who are coming up with the, oh, guys, this round, let's try this thing, let's try that thing. Or whether it's reaching back into the strat book, something Titan has already prepared. But I know Wettables is a guy who does that. But like you said, they're going to need a hell of a lot more of these. All right, this round we're going to, hinge our win off this pocket strat. I don't think that they've got 3 more of those in the bank for 3 more different bomb sites. It seems unlikely.
It does. Operators getting removed as well, you're more limited, and also the risk factor, because if you fail to execute that pocket strike correctly, or Enterprise, they did bring a second hard breacher, as the defenders won't know the attack and lineup, of course, you're investing a lot into nothing. So kind of the stars aligned there. Creeds 11 and 6, by the way, looking to get very much active in this round, going for a bit of a spawn peek into applying pressure. GG, they're still fighting. They're not mentally boomed out of this one. They're applying pressure. Trying to slow things down. Creed survives and dodges those boots through the wall. And now we see only in 30 seconds, that same wall that they could not really get last time very easily has already been broken and breached. GG, Creeds, what are you doing here? Is Killing the Drone falling back? Okay.
Well, the thing is, it's obviously a different bomb site. This is the same bomb site that we saw in the very first round, where Enterprise looked pretty solid. I feel like, they found the opening kill. From the get-go, they looked like they were going to win that. Quite a contrast to their basement attack, where Enterprise really came back in the round. This time, this specific bomb site, GG were struggling from the word go. And I think that they're maybe going to fight a little bit harder on the top floor this time as a result of that. I mean, Creeds, he's a top fragger for the team. He's got this Vector with the ACOG. He's such a good operator to try and frag, contest these long gunfights. But EP have to be careful, because GG are going to continue to stand their ground and fight.
See fire going out, and what else are they going to do in response? They walk on in, gets 1 kill, stabilize, re-drone. Don't overpeak this.
It's a trade again. Continually fighting back and forth, but EP are winning in the exchange. And on the top floor, GG continue committing. They overcommit, and they fall flat on their faces. It's a 1v4. Croxton can't get it done. It's good halves in the chat. And a dominating 7-3 on the first map for Enterprise.
Very impressive in how they got there. Not just the score count itself of 7-3, but the individual rounds, how many of those are one-sided, how clutch they were, the mental warfare, the operator band selection. They looked like they were in control for the vast majority, and they were 100%. That's not even Labs, a very open map, so to speak. Next up is Cafe, a very closed map. So I'm curious to see if they can do that on the second map as well.
Enterprise are the new kids on the block, but damn if they aren't just as good as GG, or maybe even better, of course. That's just the first map. It's a best of 3. GG look to bounce back after this break.
You know how they say, it's not the destination, it's the journey?
And the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And you know what?
They're right.
When I hear it coming up like that, I just know that things are gonna end bad. When my body only moves for the beat, y'all been waiting for me. I'll just keep dropping it, like there's no stopping it. Then walk with it, la 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 la. I'll just keep dropping it, like there's no stopping it. Then walk with it, la 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 la. I'll just keep dropping it, like there's no stopping it. Then walk with it, la 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 la. I'll just keep dropping it, like there's no stopping it. Then walk with it, la 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 la. When I hear it coming up like that, I just know that things are gonna end bad. When my body only moves for the beat, y'all been waiting for me. I'll just keep dropping it, like there's no stopping it. Then walk with it, la 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 la. I'll just keep dropping it, like there's no stopping it. Then walk with it, la 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 la. I'll just drop like I'll just la 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 la. I'll just
impossible, like it's a game. Oh, what a way to frame it. I know I shouldn't care, but I'm over being you. And maybe it's all in my head, 'cause it's time for something new. I'm not even famous, but all you blaming on some lame excuse. And maybe it's all in my head, 'cause it's time for something new. I needed new friends when you didn't show. Poured out my heart while you say home. And I tell you something, it broke my confidence. When these thoughts are toxic, it's darkness. Only showing up when it's convenient. Why is no one here to save me? Moving pieces cross the board like it's a game. Oh, what a way to frame it. I know I shouldn't care, but I'm over being you. And maybe it's all in my head, 'cause it's time for something new. I'm not even famous, but all you blaming on some lame excuse. And maybe it's all in my head, 'cause it's time for something.
Welcome back to the APL. We're getting into map number 2 of the series of the upper bracket final in Oceania. Yeah, that's right, guys. Here in this match, we're seeing the best of Australia and New Zealand going head-to-head for a shot in the grand final. That's right. The winner of this, Pengu, goes to the grand final. And it might not be GG. Enterprise dominated them on map number 1. Now we go to GG's map pick. And can you imagine if we had the first team qualify for the grand final and it's not GG or Chiefs?
All that excitement building up, but there are no players anymore in the server. They've all been taken out. But no, it is very exciting indeed. It's the thing is, I don't know if we should say that it is surprising, but I feel like Enterprise obviously being the kings right now, right? Being that first seed, first place is quite new to us. We're expecting Chiefs and GG and whatnot, the names, the rosters, the players, whatever. It has been a surprise, but maybe we've just been undervaluing or underestimating Enterprise more than anything else. Because sure, we're expecting good things from Chiefs and GG, because obviously, but that hasn't necessarily been the case. There's 3 teams right now in this region that are all fighting, and dare I say it, the scoreline of the Chiefs games earlier against Ludovica was also extremely close, 8-7, 8-7. Maybe we got 4 or 5 teams all of a sudden in the mix.
Yeah. Oh, it is just wild to imagine how close OCE has been. Of course, all of last year, well, for all of 2023, it was really a one-horse race. Nobody could touch Team Bliss.
Yeah.
And so many people have said, the best thing that could have happened to the OCE region is that team got chopped up into lots of other teams. And that's exactly what happened, right? And it started with the dropping of Oda when the team got acquired by Gaimin Gladiators. And of course, Oda then made his own team, the Chiefs, and they went on to be the best team in the region, but it was still a 2-horse race between them and GG. And then GG, no longer the top dogs, decided to make big roster changes, drop Fisho and Tuhan, who then went and made Enterprise. So we've now got this insane 3-horse race. And Pengu, look, the game is going to start very shortly, but what we're going to do here, as we prepare for Gaimin Gladiators versus Enterprise, map number 2, Clubhouse, we're going to go to a quick break, and then when we'll be back, we'll get into map number 2 to see if GG can make their comeback. we're back into it. And hey, that's a pretty screen. I'll be honest, I don't know if I've seen this very much before, but we get to see all 10 players in the server as we get ready for map number 2. Gaimin, Gladiators, and Enterprise entering the server for Cafe, which of course is GG's map pick, Pengu. Map 1 was surprisingly dominant. We obviously expect that this is going to be a tight match. Enterprise, we know they're no slouches, but GG, they already took down the Chiefs last week, and the only thing standing between them and the grand final in OCE was winning against Enterprise here, who have already made them look pretty foolish.
Of course, Cafe, a very different map from that of Not Even Lab, so if there was a time to show up now, GG, it would be right here. The downside of picking a map in a best-of-3 series that your opponent will choose the starting side, and of course, Enterprise, to nobody's actual surprise, will go on defense, the much favored side on Cafe. They've banned Monty, they banned the Ying. Those are going to be operators that both help you on the execute, on the bomb set itself in the Ying. And Monty, of course, on map control and just kind of navigating how to get in the damn building. Because that's the problem with Cafe for some teams. How do you get in? How do you get a foothold in the map where you are comfortable as the attacking team? Well, this can be how, so that's going to get removed. Gaimin Gladiators, they want to create less safe space for the defenders, so they've gone for the Classico Castle plus Asami ban, meaning that Enterprise, all they have to play behind right now will be deployable shields and Mirror windows. Mirror, who is not in play in this round, so you gotta hope those corners are gonna be nice and protected by that Wamai, because otherwise, they might just be taken out by a grenade very swiftly. That's a flashbang.
And that is a Nitro Cell, and Croxton finding a good entry. Oh, wow, a big double kill for Croxton, big backstab. He finds a player who was looking the other direction. SMG-12 is dangerous, doesn't make a lot of noise as well. However, Enterprise do seem to be at least somewhat in control, especially with player finding that kill all up to Leighton here. And he's not in a great position. He doesn't have anything to burn this Aruni gate, so repelling in means he would take damage. Much better to go up to the roof. It's not a great position for GG to find themselves in. For poor Leighton to find himself in, there's still likely Yokai drones up for relays on the Echo. And of course, he doesn't even have that diffuser.
And there it is. Getting in can be so difficult. They went for a very fast execute. Finger repel on in, finger boost, flashbangs, etc. And half the attackers got hit by the nearsightedness of the Fenrir. And of course, the location was exposed as well, just like here. Leighton's good for one. Relays gets taken out. Fisher guy and player are next in line. 60 seconds to go. Likely a drone somewhere or a Yokai. 2 players, 1 DMR. Yep, they have a cigar, Yokai drone for full information. This should be a done deal. Unless we get a little bit too greedy here.
Surely not. Oh, wow. He goes in with the pistol with the bailiff, no less. Yeah, okay. Lock in for EP. Yeah, interesting start to things for GG. Very pacey, very risky, and it doesn't really work out for them.
We see this pretty often, actually, in EML, Brazil, NAL, where the way that the meta on Cafe has kind of shifted is you will go for those exact kind of ticks that GG tried. Wide hallway window repel is one of the most important ways you can get inside the building nowadays on this map of Cafe. Cocktail repel to cut off the lines of sight, and of course trying to attack Cigar. If you punch all those areas at the exact right time and you win the gunfights, that's how you're gonna get the round 1 immediately. But on the flip side, if of course you lose, yeah, what ifs, then you see GG being locked out with the last attacker on a window repel with no one to help him, and you look like a fool. But that is how you play Cafe right now. And you know, you got 6 rounds and a half. GG, they are completely fine to go pretty quick on half of those and see what it can get them. Because if that round had worked out, we would be praising GG. Oh, incredible attack. That was good. They got the right read, etc. Small things don't go their way. They lose the round. That's okay. That's top done and dusted. Enterprise go downstairs.
Also, like, if those rounds only work 50% of the time, that's still a 50-50 on Cafe, which is pretty solid for an attacking side.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't really matter if you lose a round, like how badly you lose it, it's still a round loss. So you may as well lose spectacularly or win spectacularly.
See here, if they're gonna change the pace or keep going fast. Right now, holding an angle, upside down rappel, looking towards VIP or Christmas, whatever you want to call it. Fisher guy playing smoke in that exact position to stall out any sort of push by a shield or a fast take from GG. Very important Fisher guy to stay alive for as long as possible. If he starts getting antsy and starts moving around, that's where that upside down rappel angle from Layden can find a freebie. So without the right read here, Fisher guy could be in danger, but so far he's very good for it. He's not overcommitting here.
I like there's a lot of DMRs here, of course. You just need 2 bullets from DMRs to land to find the kill. Oh, Zuhan's actually going to find Croxton. That's a big player to take down. Not only the top fragger from GG historically, but also the Dockerby player. One of the most important operators, one of the best fraggers. A bit of an overstep, though, from Zuhan, and he is traded back after overcommitting to that drone. Wow, the timing here on that jump in doesn't work out for Creeds. Relays has got his teammates back as well. Brendo goes down, and it's going to be desperate times for GG as these 2 players are just watching VIP. Bappen finds one big swing from Fisher guy. The SNG-11s come to life in the server, and Ypres have a big laugh at how dominant that defense looked.
I'm not sure about these attacking rounds from GG. It feels like they're either like, so in the first round they full commit, and I do like that, but it doesn't work out. Here in the second round, it's what I call a half commit. They had 2 people trying to lock in Fisher guy and VIP. They had Lion on the upside down rappel big window outside of tables, and they had, I believe there was a Twitch DMR on Garrett's side holding the same exact angle. They're committing 2 people locking down 1 defender, while then fighting on Bakery's side, and Wedding, etc., jumping in those windows, taking gunfights in numbers disadvantage. Typically speaking, you want to have 1 attacker lock down 1 defender or vice versa, because now you're in the 4v4 effectively. When you have 2 attackers holding down 1 defender, who's completely stuck in that corner anyway, then you're playing 3 versus 4. And when you're on a defender favorite map, and you're attacking like a very hard fortified position, you want to have numbers advantage. GG haven't had that yet in this game, and it kind of just fell flat in that last one. I didn't see the vision, I didn't see the execute, I didn't see what they were wanting to get from that round besides just getting gunfights. We need to see GG having a very clear going, okay, our goal is to breach this wall, take this room, and go for this kind of attack, because Cafe is very much about structure. Randomness is not super favored here in the attack because there aren't a lot of gaps to exploit as an attacker.
And we have seen that mirrored so far in the OCE portion of the APL. It's the 4th most played map, and it's a 60% defensive win rate. So Enterprise starting on the defensive side. Obviously, they picked it thanks to GG picking this map. They should be comfy here. They've looked comfy here, but GG need to convince us some more on these attacks because they couldn't come back from a 2-4 deficit on Nighthaven. How on earth could they come back from such a deficit on Cafe?
So now I want to see that vision. There's a lack of a mirror counter right now. That's the first thing. No Twitch, no Ash, no Kali.
Ooh.
A nuke downstairs. Bravacone hacked by Mossy. And they know there's a guy downstairs. They might not know the nuke is there, but they see the laser. Downstairs could be a gap. Brendo drones. Another Mossy pest, of course, will stop him as well. Enterprise should have good knowledge that downstairs is dangerous. And if they're watching those staircases, they might get a freebie on Brendo if he chooses to walk up.
Yeah, I think he's just going to be lurking with no drone as well, no support. He's going to be trying to play off info with his teammates. But in order for that to work, his teammates have to make noise, have to attract attention. He's actually very close to the bomb site here. Meanwhile, that's a big pick from Croxon. Perhaps the logic bomb to come through soon. In fact, indeed, as soon as I say that, the first logic bomb comes through, Croxon starts making his move. Brendo's in a good position, but Croxon walks straight into a crossfire, loses his life. Player has taken a hell of a lot of HP damage on his position on Cocktail, but now he has support from Bappen, who finds a kill. And it's not looking too hot here for GG. Despite finding that opening frag, they're now losing the round.
Falling back. Good read. C4 going out. Not tossed immediately. Tries to go for a bait. Doesn't find the kill. No damage done. Falling back here is very smart. They got map control. They got time. They know the case is down. GG has to go, very deep upstairs to try and pick it back up. And there are Valcams. Red stairs. In Cigar. The only thing they're missing right now is a C4 downstairs. They've both been spent. And Valkyrie is dead. So that 34 will not come into play in this round. Bog 2 in self-destruction. 35 seconds. It's tough.
The only thing that could go well here for Brendo is the fact that obviously they're relying on those Valkyrie cams, EP, to try and get information. Nook might be able to sneak between them. Speaking of, Bappen on his retreat is caught by Leighton, and the numbers are even again. That's a big camera to hack as well. A lot of info that can be gleaned on that, but there's no time to use it. 10 seconds remain. Brendo's on with the diffuser. He's on this Nook as well. He has to make his way forward. They're looking for a kill. Brendo does find the trade. 4 seconds remain.
There's
you need
no
to get
time.
into the site. We need to see a plant go down. And with 4 players alive in the server, GG are asleep at the wheel.
I think they might have thought the bomb site was, really.
No,
they
they-
walked into the rotate, they got the kill, and then nothing happened.
Oh no.
They might have seriously thought it was the wrong bomb site.
Oh,
I mean, the vertical
embarrassing.
destruction they were doing could have been because think about it, the bug was doing soft destruction to hold the flanking pillar from the 90 red hallway. They destroyed the verticality onto reading as well. They honestly might have had the wrong read. It's either that, or they generally just kind of, had a brain fart and forgot what the timer was looking like. Regardless, they will call a tactical timeout again very early from GG. This is going to be a mental and strategical tactical timeout because they're just not playing the right rounds of Siege and Cafe right now.
I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that they got the wrong bomb site. I mean, Enterprise seemed pretty convinced of as well. If we saw what they said in the org chat, they said, site's mining, by the way.
Yeah.
That is really devastating. Also considering GG had the Nook on red stairs near the start of the round. That's right adjacent to that bomb site, and they still didn't realize. You could have probably heard the bomb ticking from that position on red stairs.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Thanks to all of the
You probably could.
holes in the wall that was open. GG really need this tactical timeout, but I wasn't really impressed with how they managed their tactical timeout last map, Pengu. They were, 4-1 down, I believe, when they took it, and they didn't find much else afterwards. Now they're going up against a clash. They didn't use that third operator ban on it. Instead, they got rid of the Fenrir, which makes me think they want to lurk more. But the Dokubi's gone. I don't think that they're going to have a lot of success lurking. Croxon every now and then finds a kill or two lurking, but it doesn't feel like it actually gives GG headway into Cafe.
Yeah, that's exactly it. The problem with Cafe is it's all about, as I said, structure, getting the control of the right rooms. When you're attacking top floor, you typically have 2 options. Either you attack Cigar and Piano, and you're going to attack from that side of the map, from inside the building, or you go on the window repels on Cocktail and New Balcony on White Hallway repel, and you go for like a Rabble on in, util dump, kind of crazy 1-2-3 style execute. Getting a kill in the basement or downstairs in kitchen or top floor attack, yeah, you're playing 5 versus 4, which technically is good, but on maps like Cafe, it doesn't give you as big of a benefit as on other maps because of the nature of the map and how it flows out. It's about problem solving, getting the right rooms in control. Banning the Fenrir means you can now take gunfights more comfortably as you're entering the building. It doesn't solve the issue of verticality, doesn't solve the issue of the mirror.
No!
It doesn't solve a run out from Babin taking down the sledge. Bad start to an already bad situation.
And what's more, we saw Croxon actively watching that run out. We saw him get the first bullet of damage, but Bappin finds the headshot with the SMG-12. Oh, it's not a good look for GG. They've lost their top fragger. They've lost their sledge as well, who is meant to be opening up these hatches. It's going to be desperate here. Look at this from Wettables. They're just running straight in. I'm not sure that the defense is aware of it. Tuhan goes down to Wettables. Almost a trade here in favor of GG. Brendo does even up the man count. It's a 3 versus 3, but Relays has a good position. He's retaken the top of White Stairs, and it's allowed player the ability to go and swing onto Leighton. Brendo and Creed's now effectively trapped in this position. Creed's, he's got the Blackbeard. He's the player to make an impact here. And he makes it a 1 versus 1. It's him versus Bappin. As Bappin comes up, he doesn't have any of his impact grenades left. That would be the perfect tool to deal with this Blackbeard. But he sees the Blackbeard, and he is going to lose the fight to it. Bappin eventually goes down. Creed's can clutch up big time. 1v2 for GG. But my God, that was far too close for comfort.
Definitely too close for comfort. It comes down to actually Enterprise making the wrong play in that round. Both the Clash and Individual challenging Blackbeard in close quarters in a 1v1. The way that it works, for people that are not super familiar with the new Blackbeard and Shield rework, the defenders will always have melee priority against the shield. And what I mean by that is that if you melee a shield, you will guard break them where the shield will go to the side and you'll be exposed at their core. Blackbeard is kind of the exception. This dash forward with the hissing sound, that's his gadget ability. It's not a regular melee attack. And that specific instance, Blackbeard has the priority. So when the Clash or the Vigil goes for that melee, it doesn't matter. If Blackbeard presses middle mouse button and activates the gadget, he will then override the guard break and stun them instead. So the whole thing about how you deal with the shields, you don't want to get too close to a Blackbeard because you're gonna get knocked on your butt, and you don't want to be too close to a Blitz because you're gonna blind you. Against a Fuse Shield or a Monty, being close to them is great, assuming that there's no backup behind them, holding ankle with a gun, because they don't have any priority in that close quarter situation. So Creed played that perfectly, given his positioning. Enterprise should have tried to play for a crossfire, but it was a lot of things happening very quickly, and very small mistakes going punished.
I mean, if the only rounds that GG are winning on this attack of Cafe are from chaotic 1v1 clutches, then I don't hold out a lot of hope for them. At least they won from a 4v5. Ooh, this is curious. This is another explosive execute. In come the smokes. Wedables might have an inkling here that there's a player, but he's actually looking too high. He's going to stand and walk right over them. It might give too high on the drop on Wedables. Doesn't seemingly matter because everybody else from GG falls into the meat grinder. An explosive execute with the blitz, with the glass, with everything that GG could throw at EP, and they only find a single kill from it.
What is going on? The glass having like a pixel of seeing the person proning right below his scope, and it was such an interesting point of action, but the round ended elsewhere on the execute because, again, GG, they are unsuccessful in the entries. This is kind of my issue with banning Fenrir. You ban the Fenrir to get more variable on the entry with the fast takes, with the gunfights, but we've seen now on Night Haven Labs, the first map, and also on Cafe, Enterprise are beating GG in individual performances. And you can also substitute that with other trap operators, the Ella, the Lesion, etc. They have the exact same reaction as us. What is going on in that round?
I mean, Bappen, amidst the chaos, actually got a 4K from it as well. We were busy watching the Glaz and Tuhan. But yeah, it all went down. I think it was the player Whiskey Bar would have been Bappen. Yeah, bro, I can't get over that. Oh, GG, look, they have their one round of attack. They could find a second one here, and maybe it is salvageable. But with how badly these rounds have panned out for them, it's so hard to find any sort of optimism. I think they're going to go down into the lower bracket. I think Enterprise are going to be our first team into the grand final of OCE.
Very much look to be this way, and it's well deserved. It's not due to shortcomings of other teams, but rather the success of their own. That is the best way to get far, of course, because that means you are indeed good enough to whatever comes your way, should you make the finals. GG, I mean, what's left for them? Tactical timeout is gone, Mento is a little bit boomed, opening kill to Bappen almost happens, but again, the Grizzled Mines now.
They should die.
There are just different traps slowing them down. This should be a freebie. Oh my god, it is, but just barely.
Well, Creeds has found one with the
Looking
shotgun as well, so something here for GG to take home and brag about, perhaps. It's not come a moment too soon, though. A 5 versus 2 with Bappen low HP in an awkward position. He's got impact grenades to work with. And it's Relays, who doesn't have his nitro cell. Would have been a great way to kill this player on the white stairs. Yeah, GG should win this round, barring anything absolutely ludicrous here from Enterprise.
That was more of a GG round. Comfortable in the entry, aggressive, playing together, finding opening pick, and that intel on all 3 of those kills. They have info on the 4th player as well, somehow from upstairs, from Cigar Hatch. The Bok finds the angle. 1v5, droned out, attacker on the white staircase. You are so dead, Relays. Good luck, have fun.
Finally, what we've been looking for, Creeds, with the shotgun goes down, traded. And GG, they do eventually steal their 2-4 half. A sigh of relief, but not a big one. We saw what happened on the first map. GG eventually pulled through to a 2-4 attack half and was still decimated when they moved over onto the defense. Enterprise are still very much locked in on Cafe.
If you look at like any matchup right now, a 2-4 half on the attack, it's actually not that bad statistically. It's pretty much the expected outcome unless you're a really good attacking team on this map. The problem is simply just in the way of which GG were losing those rounds and how little, confidence it's now built in them. Gonna have a small pause after this Orbiter ban phase for Wedables to fix his ping, apparently. Orbiter bans are gonna be matched from Enterprise, the Castle, and the Asami. As said, very classic staple duo ban on Cafe to weaken the top floor hold, especially around the Cafe portion of the map. Then Grim and Ying being banned. I'm very surprised here that Monty wasn't taken off the board given how much presence it had just on that map previously, and not him in laps, and how they did end up banning it later on the third attempt.
Yeah, and Monty
Surprised.
is so good on Cafe as well. I mean, I seem to remember a very instrumental grand final comeback a few years ago that was really centered around the usage of that Monty, particularly on Cafe. Penga, do you remember anything about that? What can you tell me about Monty on Cafe?
Yeah, so the crazy thing about that is the whole plan for the SI18 finals that we're gonna win the 2 first maps, or at the very least one of them in the best of 5. We will lose the 3rd map of Cafe. We don't play the map. We played it once in like 3 months. So when we end up going down 0-2, we're thinking, okay, the 1 map we're supposed to lose, we now literally have to win to have any chance of winning, because if you lose the 3rd map in the best of 5, you lose the grand finals.
Yeah.
So we go into like a staff bathroom, or a staff break room rather, and we're like, we have 5 minutes. And we're like, okay, what are we doing Cafe? Because now we have to actually play it. And we're like, what if we just play Monty, walk in piano, walk down the wide hallway, and we're on the rappels? EG will just be running around scared and we'll get free kills. So we did just that. We picked up the Monty, we walk on in, the enemies are running around the building, we get free kills, and somehow that was enough for us. And we didn't have the current ban system back then, right? So you couldn't just ban another operator after the 3rd round and a half. So there was no counterplay besides learning how to deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if any map you want to bring Monte in, or you want to maybe be a bit scared that the Monty is coming for you, it's got to be Cafe. I mean, he's so good on this map. There are a lot of positions where you can't see for him vertically. For example, that white hallway, as you were saying.
Yeah.
Even here, we're talking about the bakery or kitchen cooking bomb site. You can... Typically, you attack this bomb site 2 ways. You either go for a bakery-centric execute or a rear execute with VIP control. Either way, you might be taking a bit of top floor, but Monty can kind of be a little bit of a cheat code, particularly on the bakery side. It's usually really tough to crack bakery if you have a good defensive setup. But with that Monty, it might be unlockable. It's actually not going to be picked at all here in the first round, but we do see another curious operator that may indeed bring a shield. It's the Fuse from Fisho Guy, and he is actually going to bring that shield. However, the Fuse, quite different to Monty, is the king of vertical play. Between the Fuse and the Buck, I think that Enterprise have a real scary plan in store for this round.
Let's see what they're cooking there. I like it. Change things up a bit, play a little bit differently. Classic GT, always waiting for a jump out. Look at the stats right now from the individual players across the entire series so far. He did. There's a support back upstairs, but there's no attackers in the area. Prox might follow through though. I mean, he's gonna challenge this, right? We all know him. Yep, he's gonna look for it, fall back. Layden so far is 5 and 13 across the entire series, -8 so far. Wettable is 7 and 13, -6. It's kind of them two that I'm really looking for to show up here on Cafe, because the rest of the squad, especially Creeds, they have already shown up. They've been showing up. Relays -4, the only negative player so far for Enterprise. The rest doing pretty damn good.
So I like these Valkyrie cameras for GG. Of course, we can see the operator lineup on Enterprise. We know that this is likely going to be very much centered around a map clear, the gridlock of player to lock down all of the flanks, and then the instrumental portions of this, of course, the Fuse and the Buck. Together, they can really dominate the basement bomb site from above, terrorize anyone who's brave enough to play on site. And also, what's more, the Fuse is so good for clearing out a lot of those Vulcan canisters earlier on in the round, so you don't have to worry. And as I say that, have a look. I'm not sure where that was cleared, whether it was with the Fuse or something else. I don't think he's used any of the Fuses. Must have just been through Vert. Here we see the first cluster charges go down from Fisho Guy. And this will clear so much util. Say goodbye to any Vulcan canisters.
Go to canisters. Yep, exactly. That's so important to clear, and the nades, you know, pretty low value to spend those. I think you save one here in pocket to pre-place it for a later use case on the execute, perhaps.
Yeah,
yes, one still so far. 40 seconds. This is the thing, though. 5v5, 40 seconds. It comes down to open and kill once more. Toxic Babes and C4 on the side of GG. They have plant denied. They can shut this down quite easily.
Yeah, that said, he is actually going to go and plant. He's snuck down amongst the sound of the cluster charge. Now this is going to have to be a retake. Fisho Guy does get finished off by Croxon. Not covered accurately here by Enterprise. Nor did Enterprise look to try and clear VIP. They went for something a little bit sneaky, a little bit aggressive, and it didn't work out. And now GG might be able to keep themselves alive for a little bit longer. Croxon finds another one on the side. Relays and Player are too far apart to assist, and the timer is ticking down. It's not going to be a good look here for the last two EP players. All up to Relays. He can't find the kills needed, and GG successfully win in their first defense on the basement.
This is the thing, if you can't find the opening pick on the attack and it comes down to like those 5v5s, you have to play it flawlessly. And there was a major blunder in my mind there from Enterprise. It's very easy to miss it. The Fuse finished that round with 2 can openers, the secondary Heartbreach gadget in pocket, and the Fuse also died from the Valkyrie sprinting into the bomb site from the red hallway and taking down the Fuse, who is the player. If you breach the wall in pillar that goes to the red hallway on the left-hand side of your screen here, you can then see down the soft floor all the way down through that area. Right here, that's the double door site. If you open that hard wall and block the floor right here, you will shut down the entire push. They didn't breach that wall. They didn't do the vert. Valkyrie sprints on in, takes down the Fuse. That was their one mistake. Everything else was covered. The C4 didn't kill the Planter. The smoke was playing VIP. They were covering the bomb site itself, but they weren't covering the hallway that leads in towards the bomb site. So you have to be perfect. They weren't. GG, they found that one gap and they used it.
I mean, essentially single-handedly, Croxon won that round. Of course, everyone had to hold their positions. But Croxon, again, the playmate for GG. I can't remember if I said this before. Correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, no, I did mention this before.
Okay.
Croxon has been overtaken as the #1 player in the league. He's now down to number 3, of course. Player, like I said, he's got a much smaller sample size of just 21 rounds prior to this game. He's #1 player in the league. Then it's Jigsaw, then Croxon, and then actually Relays. And then Creeds, and then Bappin and Tuhan. So that is almost all of EP.
Oh my god, they baited.
Yeah, Creeds completely fluffs that after I was singing his praises. Almost all of EP is in the top 10. In fact, the only player that's not in the top 10 of the league is Fisho Guy, and he's the mastermind support player, so you don't expect him to be rocking up big on the stats anyway.
Small mini play there from both teams. The Mossy and the Echo working together for a run out, but we saw Enterprise. One person went on the rappel with the second person covering the run out. They thought they were going to impact the garage wall itself. It was the door. But they got the kill for free. Tuhan low on health, but still alive. Now Enterprise got that 5 vs 4. That's what they want. We said they can attack Piano. They can go window repels. They're on the windows. Nate's going out. Blackbeard going on in.
Wow. Yeah, and Bappin is also inside below as well, so Fisher doesn't have to worry about a C4 downstairs. Yeah, he's one with that diffuser. He wants to get into a safe position. He's worried about a player around this next corner. He doesn't have any grenades, though, to flush out Brendo. And Croxon might come support. Fisher trying to take down Leighton at the top of the wide stairs. Meanwhile, he needs to fall back because that clash coming his way is going to make things very difficult. He might find another one. Croxon overexposes. Fisho Guy worried here about this clash, but Wenables goes down. The support from Bapper at the top of wide stairs. It's all up to Brendo. He's picked apart. Enterprise fire up after an explosive attack on a cocktail.
You wouldn't expect this. We saw Enterprise in a very similar situation when they were defending. They had each other's backs. They had the crossfires. GG, the quote-unquote more experienced team, they're failing on the fundamentals right now. That Blackbeard walks on in and takes down 3 separate defenders, one by one by one. But all those 3 separate defenders could have helped each other and traded out at any moment. He walks in what looked like a dangerous triple crossfire and comes out alive and finds kills. And it creates so much chaos in the server for GT's communication. Because now they all gotta start looking towards the Blackbeard because, oh no, he's a threat. And then what happens? The backstab from Cocktail Rappel, from the White Staircase, and from Skylight. Enterprise, it's one of those moments where imagine you had that 5th player of Mossy and Creeds. Imagine he was upstairs to help shut down that attack. All of a sudden, that might not have worked out. But because they find that one important kill ticket numbers advantage, and then they attack an important area of the map with all 5 attackers, they come out victorious. They've actually done what GG failed to do in most of their attacks. it's still hard in these upcoming rounds. Attacking is not easy. That was a huge play, but it shows us that Enterprise, they are more than just fragging players. They can be led by Fisher Guy to do the right play at the right time.
And Enterprise, they actually have a lot of depth and a lot of variety in their strategy. They know how to use shields, but they know how to use all of them differently. We saw Monsane used very well in map 1 by Fisher Guy. That round prior was a perfect demonstration of the value of Blackbeard because he's got that rifle. He can take proper gunfights. He can make you punished for ignoring him. And now we've got Fisher Guy on the blitz, the ultimate close-range shield operator. GG are struggling as Enterprise flex their muscles and their depths of these attacks on Cafe.
Lesion's shotgun might mean a jump out.
It is.
Doesn't have the same negative of the
Oh,
fire.
no!
There's a blitz! Oh, what did we have blitz? Oh, he team killed him as well. I closed my eyes.
Wow.
Okay. He trades 1 for 1. Good for Creed, right? But if this is what we're coming down to. Is this like desperation? Is this being like, okay, nothing is working? Is this just saying, if I trade 1 for 1 and disrupt Enterprise's attack and strategy, it's fine, it's worth it? But then this happens, a wallbang with the DMR finds Croxon out of nowhere? What is going on, James?
I think it does reek of desperation here for GG. These days, you can't go for jump outs like that. Oh no, Brendo goes hunting because of a yellow ping, and he's led astray. Relays takes his head clean off. These DMRs are dangerous for EP. Leighton and Wedables, the last two standing for GG, and they need to continue getting aggressive. Finally, Relays is put to rest. It's only a one-player advantage now, but Wedables, 2 and Player have found the bomb site and a kill to go with it, all up to Leighton. They know exactly where he is. He's dueling with Fate, he's dueling with Bappin, and he jumps straight over. Enterprise forcing that plant down, and Leighton into a retake. Low HP, but it doesn't matter for Bappin. Enterprise are running it back, and they are dominating GG. The Gladiators themselves are staring down the barrel of being knocked down into the lower brackets.
And this is what I mean when I was talking about GG earlier. That shoddy play is so bad. GG can run over most of their opponents mechanically in the group stage in best of ones, right? And they can get away with it easily. The problem is that you can build really bad habits, and then what happens when you can't run over your opponents with mechanical skill? You have to fall back and rely upon what we call fundamentals and strategical knowledge. Right now, Enterprise are the ones that are out-strategizing GG and beating them mechanically. GG's entire win condition, in my mind, in that round, is to trade 1 for 1 and just stop Enterprise from being able to execute. That's what that whole Lesion jump out is, right? And it is a bit desperate, but it can be a thing that works. And it gets a 1 for 1, it's meant to a 4 vs 4, it's fine. Relays gets a wall bank, it's now 3 vs 4. Then GG, they just start swinging every single gunfight imaginable because they have those Valkyrie cameras, and on paper, it's not the wrong play to do. But I do think where they were choosing to take the gunfights were kind of poor. You're swinging into a DMR person holding a pixel angle on Cigar, literally watching the exact angle you're swinging from. It's a bit of what's like, are you expecting to win that gunfight? Should you realistically win that gunfight? Whereas that's a bad one. The second attempt was GG swinging out from library door into pillar, much better. It's a big open space, we can visibly see that the attacker has no idea he's about to get swung, he's not ready for it, that's a good swing. GG are taking every swing regardless of the odds in their favor or against them, instead of taking the swings that are favoring them that they should be taken only.
And Enterprise are cooking something aggressive here. Out goes a grenade from the IQ. They've already gotten a little bit of information thanks to Bappin's electronics detector to figure out where these players are. In goes Fisher Guy. He flexes, but it doesn't land the shots there with the blitz. Leighton, blind, still finds the kill with that shotgun. No trade as well. But in goes Player. He gets that DMR out with the Glaz, and he looks for a kill. Croxon has found Bappin. Perhaps an opportunity for reprieve here for Gaimin Gladiators, but Player still finds his kill. Potentially a second one. GG have 2 players fall to the Glaz over on Small Bake, and we're back to a 3 vs 3.
Changing magazine.
Comes down to Leighton, he has diffuser inside of VIP, he's low health, he's playing the smoke, no toxic babes in pocket. Enterprise are not really in the building, no more smokes available to enable the glass, 1 lion charge in pocket. It's a big reset for both teams. They're both on even grounds. C4 over the wall, doesn't find anybody. Ravager on side, granting themselves some information. This is not about the bomb site. This is not about execution. This is now about playing together, trying to force a 2v1 gunfight or a 3v2 gunfight. Layden's the first target. He has cover from the bar.
Great positioning here from Tuhan. There are 2 players that could swing him. Destruction of the canister does obscure vision. Tuhan finds his first pick. Good trade though from Brendo, but he's stabbed in the back.
Oh.
Player versus Croxon now. And they know where each other are. Diffuser still caught over in VIP. Has to be reclaimed. Player sees his head for a brief second.
Oy.
Doesn't land that kill. Croxon has been on fire ever since joining GG. He's come all the way down under. Can he win this 1v1? No!
No!
Enterprise have stolen the crown from the greats. GG knocked down into the lower bracket, and EP are the first team to qualify for the grand final in APL OCE.
And the way that they do it, it's such a showcasing and display of skill, communication, teamwork, and adapting and overcoming these really incredibly difficult rounds. GG, I always say more experience, but Enterprise in this server, they are showing us they are the better team in so many rounds on Night Even Labs and equally many rounds on Cafe. I mean, that final round is ridiculous, and they're finding the trades, they're finding the angles, they're finding the gaps, and we see it right here. There are 2 people in the final round that swung the glass inside our wedding. The first peek is fine, the second peek not necessary, and it put them back to a 3-3, which GG lost.
To use an aptly Aussie phrase, I am utterly gobsmacked at what I've just seen. Rob, what on earth is this from Enterprise?
Yeah, unfortunately, this is something that I think is going to haunt GG for a long time. This is not a performance that gets you through to the grand final. It is certainly not a performance that will finish you in anywhere near the top spot. EWC on the line, bragging rights, money. There's so much on the line for all of these teams right now. And GG, when it matters the most, when it really pushes them, they cannot get it done. Enterprise take an absolute bow. I mean, Pengu, I just, it's incredible to see where this region is at now. Look, we could say that GG underperformed. We could say that there were a couple of rounds that left us all scratching our heads. But at the end of the day, it's a game of tennis. Yes, there are errors, but you have to capitalize on those errors. And by God, did Enterprise do that well.
It's exactly that. It's a matter of if GG looks like they're underperforming and misplaying some of these rounds, it comes down to how well Enterprise are playing on the flip side and how difficult it is for GG to find any kind of freedom in the server. Whenever there's an even man count, whether it's 3v3 or 5v5, my mind is an Enterprise. They got the better teamwork, they got the better timings, they got the better communication, at least looking from the outside in. And it's such a surprising factor to me because going into this series, I didn't think that was going to be the case. No. And Night Even Labs, it's their map. They know it. They're good on whatever. Cafe, GG will show up, right? No. Enterprise show up even bigger than GG and shut them down on their own map.
A poetic way to end it as well with Player. The sub, the fill-in, the stand-in.
Best player in the region, by the way.
He just keeps doing it. Look, I really want to take just a moment to congratulate Player because I said this on the desk last week and a little bit earlier today. That man has been on more rosters in the last 3 years than we've had stages in the Oceanic region, Dev.
And he's had a bit of a rough time of it as well. His first big break was back in the day for Knights, right at the point where they started going downhill.
Yep.
And we feel like he was never truly given a shot. He never met his potential on that team. He was faced with a lot of criticism. And then obviously most recently on Chiefs, a great player, but when you have someone like Jigsaw come up,
it's tough.
You have to pick Jigsaw there, right? Now he's found himself on another roster, and as you said, he's subbed in. He's put Killerman to shame. Not that Killerman isn't a great player as well, but for Player to be only playing, well, I think that's his 4th map that he's played, 3rd or 4th map so far, and he's just looking phenomenal. Best player in the region. Enterprise absolutely should hold on to him with everything that they've got, in my view. And I think we've got a serious contender here. Like, this is the real deal. These guys can hang with GG and Chiefs. It's truly a 3-horse race in OCE.
It certainly is. And A player outside a player that has been incredibly surprising to me over the last, I want to say 12 months, is Bappin. And we've got him for an interview.
Yes.
Bappin, my friend, my word. I mean, we saw the reaction cams at the end there for how that felt as a team. How does it feel for you individually to have now taken down the best of the best? And, I mean, you're flawless this stage. Like, it's insane.
Bro, honestly, right now, like, my heart's still beating. To be honest, I'm just sitting here waiting to talk to you. But I'd say it's like a big change from playing with President.
I think everyone collectively laughed in here, so fair enough, Dev.
Yeah, look, Bappin, I kind of want to, not to have a go at President, I want to talk a little bit about your history as a player, right? Like, we've seen your name floating around for what seems to be quite a while here, but you spent a long time on teams that were struggling to make it into the top 4, top 2 even, and now you are the best team in the region. The only team that you've lost to since becoming Enterprise is Outlast, and they are already knocked out. You've now dominated GG twice. You've beaten Cheese. You've got yourself a spot in the grand final. Like, give me the lowdown. Like, how on earth did you get here, bro? How on earth did you come to this from where you've been?
I think. Well, I was originally going to stay with SN, but somehow, according to Prez, he had a trial with Chiefs, so then a big disperse came with the team and everything fell apart. And then, obviously, Tuan and Fish got dropped, so they reached out to build a new team and stuff. I obviously landed a good spot here. Got lucky with that one, otherwise I would have probably been out already. I was still on the same team. I think, like, what comes from the team changes is definitely the leadership, like from Fish. I think that's like where I find most of my success, honestly. That guy has got a lot of passion and effort for this team.
Nick?
Obviously, you guys have done incredibly well, so congratulations, first of all. There are a lot of really chaotic, scrappy 3v3 moments on both Night Haven Labs and Cafe. Do you guys just spam 5-man ranked on O servers and do crazy stuff together? Or how have you found so much synergy and success so quickly as a roster? Because GG, they have so many more years of international experience and playing in a bigger region, of course. You guys look like the better team both individually and together. How has that come around?
I mean, funnily enough, we actually did Q1 5-stack rank game, which we lost.
Nice.
So we've never queued ranked ever. So we've never queued ranked ever again. With the chemistry, all of us boys, we all sit in Discord. We all talk to each other. We're like mates. It's not just team shit. We're all mates. So it's like it just comes off really easily. Like we can take criticism, we can give it out. Like people learn, people improve. Like it's just so much easier with this group.
Speaking of the group, you've mentioned him already, Fisho Guy, being an instrumental role. It's something that we've talked about on the desk time and time again, about what Fisho has done for the region, for the teams, for the players that he has worked with. You gave him big praise before. Can you give us just a little bit of insight as to what he does for you and the team? Like, what is it that enables... Because right now, you've got 4 unbelievable gunners and what is, I think without a doubt now, the best IGL we've ever had in Oceania. What is it that he does that enables you all to just be free?
I think he just alleviates all the pressure of like theory side. He gets everything done. He sorts out like mini games, like strats, like different types of reactions we can do. He's got everything sorted for us, and we just like to shoot our guns. Honestly, he joins us in, and it just works.
Oh, God, it certainly does. Look, we could probably sit here and talk for hours, but I think you guys are well and truly on your way to potentially claiming #1 spot and a trip to EWC, which, by the way, is absolutely mental, Bappin. From where you've come from, like Dev was saying, to where you are now, I think it's a huge testament to yourself and the team for what you've done. But I really want to highlight you for a second. You've done a phenomenal job. Last year, I think you've reformed a bit from some of the earlier stuff, and you're looking, honestly,
I'm
mate,
humble.
You are looking really humble, really comfortable in this roster. It's a phenomenal feat for all of you to have achieved this. So I just want you to know that none of us take this lightly, what you've been able to achieve. And on that note, we'll let you have the last word before we let you go.
I just want to say shout out to Min, shout out to Soku. You know, they obviously gave me this new mouse pad that I'm actually using right now. Probably the best I've ever touched. Shout out the team. Shout out the org. Enterprise.
Yep.
Solid fellas.
Can we have a look at your little artwork behind you, by the way? Can you move your camera? I want to see
That's
this bad
nice.
boy.
Oh, yeah, I can try. Wait, I'll just put it here.
Oh,
There we go.
damn.
Bro, what are you doing with an Intero lookalike back there?
Look, if he was watching me play, I reckon I'd probably make it to a grand final as well.
Somehow,
I mean-
that is more attractive than Intero. It's ridiculous. Bappin, mate, again, congratulations on a monumental victory. Do not take this lightly. Go and celebrate with the team. And hopefully
you.
we'll
Yeah.
be speaking to you next week.
We'll do.